Everybody doing today? My shed is cold, very cold. So you're getting the unfinished YouTube room. We're working on it. It's just taking a while. 27 years ago today, November 17th, 1992, compound fracture to my left leg. 27 years ago. A long time. Anyways, I got asked about, in the last couple of videos, I've been putting those pictures in the picture of that Thunderbird swing yarder that's flopped over. I wanted to hear the story behind that one, and it's actually a pretty good story. It was just weeks before I started actually doing the YouTube videos. The very next job we went to is when I started doing them, so... There was a TSY-50, and there was only 3 of them made of the TSY-50s that were 2 guy line machines, and there was a reason for that, because 2 guy lines sucks. The reason being is you got your 2 guy lines like this, one of them pulls, what's the second one do? It just takes you that way, and that's exactly what happened to that one. From day one, when we moved the yarder in there, I told them guys, man, I am not like the idea of this 2 guy line machine being up here. The reason they took it up there is because it wasn't much for landing. You're gonna have to sit right on the edge of the road to get lift over, because it just broke. I mean, it was steep and then went out like flat. But we had this TSY-50. It was hung out like 3,000 feet, skyline just, and I mean bone tight, to get it up over the edge of the landing. So they bought brand new guy line stubs and what we call a nub eye. And it's a piece of line. It's got an eye on one end and then, a short chunk of line with a nub on the other. So the nub goes to the connector for your guy line, and then the eye goes so you can hang on cats and stuff. So he's hanging on a D8K and a D9H. So we had good tail, and we was actually hanging on a D7G for tail hold. So we were covered all the way around, except for lines and everything were so, and I mean tight. Oh, good Lord, they were tight. We got it rigged up, and we didn't have enough skyline, so we had to go in, and I was like, I didn't want anything to do with it. I just saying it was a bad idea, it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea. Come back up the next day with more line, we put it on, and we had to re-spool the line because it was wanting to bite in on us real bad. So we re-spooled the line, and about the 3rd turn, I see the owner walking up the road with this other feller. And he comes right up there and yells out the window. He says, hey, give him a quick overview on it. I want you to run shovel for me. I was like, yes, I do. It wasn't an hour. And I was standing out on the catwalk with the shovel because he didn't want me to smoke in the loader. And I was smoking, and he was pulling on a turn. I mean, he was hogging on it good, too. And I was like, good Lord, they're pulling hard. And something went... and the dust in the road went like that, and I looked down to see what it was, and just about that time I heard something else, and I looked up, and the guy line goes flying over the landing, and that yarder, like I say, it set into that second guy line, and I've had a lot of people tell me when they go over slow. I'm telling you, that's a bunch of bullshit. That yarder, when it set into that second guy line, it absolutely body slammed. It was a 330 link belt with a Wartaw 624 Wartaw dangle head on it, excavator. It hit so hard that it blew the Lexan windows out of that excavator. And the haywire shiv went right down through the motor compartment just like a fish hook would, just yeah. And it hit hard enough that it bent the track frame on that excavator. The guy sitting inside it was freaking out. And the guy running the yarder was not, because he was just like, what the, Luckily, nobody got hurt. The guy running the yarder got just a scratch on his elbows, a little bit of bleeding, no big deal. Yeah, so they got And what the first little puff of dust was the nub. When they pour those nubs, it wasn't done right. I never got to hear the exact, whatever it was, but and I'm not going to say their names, but the place where we bought the guy lines, their insurance paid for everything because it went back on them because it was a brand new piece of line. It just pulled the nub right off of it. And so when the line went, it pulled it off, the line went that way, well, the nub come flying with it. And that's what hit the ground there. Lucky. Very, very, very lucky that nobody got hurt. But he sold that yarder. It bent the tower, knocked a couple windows out, and that was it. So they fixed the gantry to it, and he sold it, and the people that bought it, the first thing they did was put a third guy line on it. Good choice. It was a nice yarder, damn nice yarder. And it's primarily a TMY50, just in a swing yarder before they come out with the 155, 255, 6155 models. Badass little yarder, just two guy lines wasn't a very good afterthought with it. Anyways, stay safe, get along, friends.